The 2016 BMW X5 xDrive 40e, that's the new plug-in hybrid version of the X5 sport utility vehicle, is going to draw you in with its numbers, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds, 14 miles in all-electric mode, 24 mpg combined. The numbers add up to an alluring, and image-greening, idea, that you could charge up each night and have enough of a charge to make your, short, commute without the gasoline engine ever starting and free of direct tailpipe emissions. Or if your daily driving distance is, as most commuters, quite a bit more than 14 miles round trip, you could potentially plug in at work or while shopping, and do most of your daily driving tasks on purely via a near silent EV mode. But if you're too focused on the numbers, we'd venture to say that this plug-in X5 isn't the one for you. By the time we'd finished a full week with the xDrive 40e, we couldn't shake the impression, based on the interface and based on the way the X5 defaults, that BMW engineers weren't actually planning for you to use that plug-in capability daily. Out with the Mechatronic masterpiece, in with the modular. Before getting into why, here's a brief outline of what's under the hood. There's a 2.0-liter inline-4, essentially the same engine that's used throughout the BMW lineup, making the same 240 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. And plenty of familiar components, like BMW's xDrive all-wheel drive system, using an electronic multi-plate clutch system to vary the torque that gets sent to the front or rear wheels. What's in between doesn't at all involve the two-mode active transmission that was installed in the former X6 active hybrid, a powertrain that BMW, modest as they are, still describes as a Mechatronic masterpiece. That masterpiece has been swept aside in favor of something simpler and lighter, an 8-speed plug-in hybrid automatic transmission from supplier ZF. This transmission, which packages a strong, 111 HP, electric motor inside the transmission housing, replacing the torque converter completely, was designed as a plug-and-play part-in solution for automakers that wouldn't take up much more space than an existing 8-speed automatic. The X5 xDrive 40e is the first model in the world to offer this transmission, part of a modular hybrid kit from ZF that's to be used in mild, full, and plug-in hybrid models, perhaps from a range of brands and automakers. 2016 BMW X5 xDrive 40e First Drive Review, page 2. The fundamentals are all clearly here, with a 9.2 kWh lithium-ion battery pack that can be charged to full in less than 2 hours with level 2, 240V, charging, or around 7 hours on a standard 120V household plug. Tesla Model X rival? Definitely not. Now as for that impression that we weren't meant to tap into those all-electric capabilities, look at the interface, there's not a lot of encouragement in it. Every time you start the X5 plug-in, even if there's a full charge, it defaults to the auto eDrive setting, which runs the vehicle in a smart hybrid mode, using the electric charge generously when EV operation is deemed the most efficient, then turning the gasoline engine on at higher speeds, of around 45 miles per hour or more. There's really no way through menus or settings to have the xDrive 40e default to being an electric vehicle when it's fully charged up. You simply have to remember to hit the eDrive button on the center console with each start, but we'd advise avoiding the Eco Pro mode and its softened, laggy responses. And the entire time you're driving in pure electric mode, the big tachometer sits there at 0 revs reminding you that you don't have to be such a spoil sport. There's also, by the way, a save battery mode, which lets you save or actually build back up a charge. We didn't test this mode, but it's only really of use in the US if you're driving into a major metro area, like New York or Washington, D.C., and plan to be moving at very low speed. Quiet and underwhelming while the engine's off. Secondly, the xDrive 40e simply isn't a lot of fun to drive in its all-electric mode. With its 111 HP electric motor, acceleration happens at a reasonably brisk, silent rate up to around 30 miles per hour, at which point you'll find your right foot digging deep to get the sort of acceleration that's considered normal for a vehicle like the X5. EV only top speed is 75 miles per hour, and it's slow going leading up to that. Oh, just don't floor the accelerator. Do so, push past the detent and hold it, and the X5 plug-in busts out of its pure EV painted prison cell and goes back to auto eDrive mode. Perhaps the strangest thing about driving the xDrive 40e in its all-electric mode is feeling the transmission shift up through its gears, with motor power. Somehow it feels like just another assurance that BMW wants to be ready with the gasoline engine at any instant, and that it doesn't trust the electrics to be all alone. Just drive it quickly and you'll be rewarded. As much as this vehicle feels like a poser as an EV, it's a fully fleshed out, well-engineered vehicle that's perky and fun to drive in that auto mode it defaults to. Click over to the sport mode and the system really comes into its own, with the electric motor providing boost like a supercharger and even acting to smooth shifts. In this model, the entire system makes 308 HP and 332 lb-ft of torque. The simplified, modular approach works just fine for performance. We found only 2 reproducible powertrain hiccups in OU.